hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. And hang in there. And hang in there. Okay. We're gonna hang in there. It gets better with time. I know it gets better with time. We just don't know how long it takes. But I know it gets better with time. And I know it's gonna get better with time, right? Okay. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. It's gonna get better with time. Okay. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. And hang in there. Okay. It's gonna get better with time. 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 Okay, hold on. Okay, let's do it again. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. And hang in there. Okay. It's gonna get better with time. It's gonna get better with time. It's gonna get better with time. And it's gonna get better with time. And it's gonna get better with time.
If you have kids, can you explain to me how your life has changed? And not just like, oh, it's amazing, I felt love I never felt before. I mean, tangibly, can you stitch this? Can you comment this? Can you let me know? Because I'm in this era of my life. I'm 29. I have a partner that I love. He's the first person I've ever dated that I think I could have kids with. And I don't know what the hell I want to do, because I'm going to be real, guys. It looks like a lot of work. And I know that the work is worth it because you love your kids, but I'm wondering, like, I've been watching a lot of these regretful parenting TikToks recently. I'll tag the creator below if you want to go look. And it's made me really think, you know, your life changes, but it seems that people don't express enough how much your life changes and how negative some parts of that are. So can you let me know what your experience is with parenthood, particularly motherhood, even if you have a great partner? Let me know. Stitch, comment, whatever. Like, what do you wish you knew? Do you wish you waited longer? Do you wish you started earlier? Do you wish that you had certain things in your life? Like, do you wish you had bought a house with a yard, or were you fine in an apartment? Like, what life things do you wish you knew or changed, and how has it changed your lives? You know? Need some parent advice from a non-parent.
All right, so why do parents regret having their children? So in this video today, we are talking about why parents who have gone online and say they regret having children. In fact, they're literally writing down their frustration, how they hate their new life, how they hate why they decided to have that child, how they hate dreading, that new life of becoming a mom and taking care of those children. So today we're talking about that, and then just watch this video, and then we're going to discuss it at the end. Please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned.
Aware there is a subreddit called Regretful Parents. I've thought about whether it's my place to go on that subreddit, but because people have this belief, I think it's really important to talk about the fact that regretful parents exist. So here's just some snippets from the sub. I didn't think I'd get PPD this bad. Even though my baby is only 10 months old, not a day goes by where I don't want to disappear or hurt myself. I'm in therapy and on medication, but I don't think I'll ever be myself again. I'm just an empty shell. Being called mama irritates the soul out of me. My child is 6, and I wish I understood that my PPD was a sign to adopt him out. Now it's too late for me. The bad feelings never went away. I can't do this. I wasn't cut out for this. I feel like I'm pouring all of myself into a bottomless pit that gives thanks by screaming furiously at me. I didn't want to keep him, but my partner's parents convinced me to. Any breaks I get from my son, I spend dreading when I'll have to take him back. If my kids were not my kids, I would cross the road to avoid them. I have nothing left to give. I can't stand my 14-year-old. I wish she was never born. I hate being her mom. I hate coming home every day to her. I don't know how to accept this is my life now without wishing every day I hadn't ruined it with a baby. I'm just alone with this terrible toddler, living paycheck to paycheck, wondering how I could have messed up my life so much. A year into motherhood, I go to bed every single night dreading the next day. Never in a million years would I have guessed I could be this unhappy. There hasn't been a single day in an entire year that I've enjoyed. I yearn for the life I used to have. I miss it so much it hurts. I don't even see glimpses of myself anymore. My anxiety runs my world. I've completely lost the old me. I wish I had known that every day would start with cortisol surging through my body before the sun rises, my nerves shot before breakfast time. The best part of my day is when my kids go to school. Right now I'm locked in the bathroom trying to recoup so I don't start yelling while my 5-year-old does the exact opposite of what I've asked them to do from the other side of the door. This life is relentless and I'm so fucking exhausted. This is from a post called For the Fence Sitters. You know that feeling you get at the tail end of winter when it feels like you haven't had the sun on your face for ages? It feels like it's been cold forever and every morning feels gray, and you look forward to spring when you won't have to put on your boots and coat to scrape the ice off your car while you freeze your ass off. Imagine trying to explain that feeling to someone who spent their whole life in the tropics. You can complain about the cold, but it's not really the cold. It's not the snow either. And having to put on boots in the morning or drive the car on icy roads, none of these things seem like a big deal in isolation. Even combined, they don't seem overwhelming to an outsider. Anybody can do winter for a while. It's really the bitter endlessness of it all. Waking up to it day after goddamn day. The petty frustrations that together are more than the sum of their parts. That's what being a parent has been like for me. Only instead of being able to look forward to spring, the only thing on the horizon is more winter. Decades of winter. I know that sounds melodramatic, but I swear it's the best analogy I can think of. It's bleak, and it can be harder still knowing that you chose this. You could be sitting in Mexico under the hot sun, salsa dancing and sipping margaritas, but instead, you picked 18 years of winter, possibly more. And that decision can seem very, very stupid when you're shoveling your driveway while sub-zero winds blow snow in your face. So yeah, there are parents who regret it.
So I'm scrolling through the Regretful Parents subreddit, which has always been kind of a fascinating subreddit that I try not to read too often because it makes me sad. It's hard to see people regretting such permanent choices. This one says, I love my daughter, but this isn't for everyone. I miss my space, a quiet house. I miss my old body. I miss the person I was before her. Being a parent is the hardest thing ever, and your kids will never understand how hard it is unless they become parents themselves. There are so many things about my life right now that I love so much that I wouldn't trade for the world. I love my quiet apartment in the city. I love my freedom. This is why we deserve more comprehensive education on what it is and what it really means to be a parent, so people aren't left surprised and disappointed that it isn't everything that they thought it would be.
I'm 39 and happily child-free, but every so often I'll wonder, is it true? Like, do you have to have kids to, like, have a life that's worth living? Just, you gotta have so many kids. Like, is it true? And then I found the subreddit, Regretful Parents, and I have learned it is not true. And if you're on the fence about having kids, or if you've decided not to have kids, but occasionally you're like, is this the right decision? Go to that subreddit, because you will learn there are a shit ton of parents who regret their children.
I mean, what if I don't want to live the way you live?
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
There has been so much talk about this subreddit, and as a chismosa, I needed to know more. So of course, I checked it out, and I'm pleasantly surprised. This is the subreddit that they're talking about. It's called Regretful Parents, and you'll read here that it's a safe space for parents who think they shouldn't have become parents. However, it's also a place where these parents can get advice, help, words of encouragement, words of wisdom to continue on in their parent journey. To be honest, because of the nature of Reddit, I thought that I was going to jump into the rabbit hole of childism and people expressing their hate for their own kids, or like, I don't know, like I thought it was gonna get dark up in here. But instead, what I'm seeing is frustrated stay-at-home moms, frustrated single parents, people who don't have the financial means to support multiple children. A lot of parents that had their kids young, I'm talking about 14 and now they're 18-year-olds with a 5-year-old, and they regret it. And then there are also a few that they feel like they're coerced into parenthood because of societal expectations. So in conclusion, if you don't want kids, please don't have them. But if you do have kids and you end up regretting it, there is a safe space for you to sound off and get advice.
I remember going through the subreddit when it went viral, and it was something. I think there should be more spaces for people to talk about their regret for parenthood, not the regret for the child, but the regret for parenthood. So then there wouldn't be so much blowback on people that want to be child-free by choice. Because I think what a lot of people fail to see is a lot of people feel this way. A lot of people are regretful about opting into parenthood when they could have pushed back on society and said no, which is what they really wanted to do, but didn't have the strength to do. I would rather be regretful about not having kids than having children and being regretful about that decision. Because caring for a human life is a full-time and a lifetime job. And also, we can talk about the fact that there are a lot of married single parents out here. And the subreddit talks about that too, about how you find the man or the woman or the person of your dreams, and then the baby comes out and people absolutely change. Also, y'all want babies. Y'all don't want people to care for and children. Because one day, these babies and these children and toddlers will grow up to be people and humans with autonomy and opinions. And you don't get to live your life through them.
I mean, what if I don't want to live the way you live?
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Have y'all seen the subreddit for the people who regret having kids? It's eye-opening and important because, you know what, as a child-free woman, all you ever heard was, oh no, just have kids. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. And no one ever had the forum to admit that they regret having kids. You can never say that in public. But now, through the magic of Reddit, you can say it like behind your username. No one knows who you are. And holy shit. There are so many people who regret having children, who hate their fucking lives because they have children, who have said straight out, like, I love my kids, but I hate my kids and I wish I didn't have them. Like, it's not that uncommon. And I think it is so, first of all, good that they have a forum to like get that out. Probably helps them relieve a lot of pressure, but also people need to hear that because all you ever hear from are people who are like, oh no, it's different once you have your own, you'll love them. That's not true. That is not true. It turns out if you have an inkling that you don't want kids, having kids is a terrible idea and you'll very likely regret it. You just couldn't admit it before. Here's the kicker. It's mostly moms. It is mostly moms. And you could say like, oh, maybe it's because, well, postpartum depression, which is legit. That's fair. So there's that. There's them if they're stay-at-home moms, just home with the kids all day. Like, it's just, they're fucking miserable. And all I'm saying is that, first of all, if you think you don't want kids, don't let anyone talk you into it. Because once they're there, that's it. Like, they're there. Second of all, foster kittens or puppies first. Like, I'm telling you, I've been fostering neonatal bottle-fed kittens for 20 years. Those fuckers are the best birth control, I swear to God. Baby steps, just start there. They have to be fed every few hours throughout the night. It is absolutely exhausting. And you get to say goodbye to them. And then like, if you and your partner can make it through that, then maybe consider going from kittens to puppy. Like, make it a graduated step thing. When my boyfriend first moved in, I was fostering a litter of kittens, and there were nights that he just let me sleep. He got up and gave them a bottle and did their little tushies to make them go potty and just let me sleep because he thought I was tired. And I was like, damn, it's a shame we don't want kids because you'd be a good dad. But what's crazy is how many people who thought they wanted kids, who were like, no, I was dying to have kids, now that they're here, fucking hate those kids. Like, it's just, I don't know. Some people have kids way too fast in the relationship. That's all I'm saying. Like, give it a beat. Give it a beat. Foster some kittens. See if that works out.
I'm going to say something that will make some people upset. I think we need to normalize regretting having your children. I'm a therapist and I work with kids, teens, young adults, as well as parents. And there are so many parents who have been vulnerable enough with me in their therapy sessions to admit that they regret having their children. Now, before you shame those parents, these are really, really good parents. Now, these aren't all parents that I work with. It's just an emotion that does come up in therapy that I don't think really gets talked about, because if they were to say some of these words out loud or to other people, they would get shamed for it. And don't get me wrong, these are amazing parents. They're great parents. They love their children. They would do anything for their children. They would never give their children up. But it's just talking about the emotion of regretting having them.
Good morning. You've probably heard about the infamous Regretful Parents subreddit, but I just wanted to share one of the posts with you guys, especially those of you who are on the fence about whether or not you want to have children. So here we go. I haven't been happy since before he was born. No tragedy here, no special needs kid or abusive spouse. I was a fence sitter, and every single person who was a fence sitter I knew would go on about how glad they were about having kids, how rewarding and fulfilling and full of love it all was. It's just not. I've never been crazy about my kid and honestly resent just how badly he impacted my life. I don't hate him, but I don't really like him as a person either. If he was a neighbor kid or something, I would avoid him. The only feelings I get when he's around is frustration, annoyance, and deep, deep regret. I don't enjoy any of it. I let myself be talked into a child because my husband wanted one so bad. But of course, it was my life that took the biggest hit. This isn't some new mom venting. My son is a teenager now, and I have never not once ever enjoyed raising him. Some parents have different stages where they can kind of connect with their kids, but I never did. I've spent years and years unhappy, all to please a man. Let me make this clear that there is no man on this planet I would ever have a child for again. It is not one thing you do for your spouse, it's the everyday grind. I put his happiness ahead of my own and he paid for it every single day since. It is not fulfilling. I'm angry at the years I could have spent on myself, getting ahead in my education and career, but I couldn't afford that and a kid. Looking back, what I
talk about degrees like this, but people think I just enjoy coming to the internet to talk, even though I enjoy talking. These degrees, for me, it's a graduate degree program. You have no business doing this as your bachelor's degree, let alone associate degree. This is a degree that's for people in management position already. What are you going to manage with your bachelor's in healthcare management, in healthcare administration? You just graduated. Why? You just graduated and they expect you to have 10 years experience. That's why this degree is for people already in management position, for master's level education, not for bachelor's, not for associates. Stop getting degrees like this. Stop listening to your academic advisor and listen to me, your wicked internet auntie. Before you do stuff like this, okay? And I'm sorry to this person that is stuck with a degree they don't know what to do with. I would just say, just complete 360 or 380, I don't know. You have to do something else, okay? Goodbye.
Don't have kids before you read through the subreddit called Regretful Parents. It's a community of real people who did everything right. They got married, had stable jobs, raised their kids, and still end up miserable. People who want kids forget that there are objective downsides, and the people who have kids do a bad job at telling you how bad it really is. Let's read through one of the most popular posts with over 11k likes and 3k comments. The title is Don't Have Kids. If you're currently childless and looking at this page to read stories, let me just tell you straight up, don't have kids. Save your mental health, freedom, looks, and money. Yes, I love my kids. Yes, they're amazing, but the lows are low. It's not easy. I don't understand why no one truly and openly warns you. I'm warning you, don't do it. And there are thousands of posts like this daily, and reading them forces you to question yourself. Is this the reality of having children?
Having children is the biggest regret of my life. I'm a 38-year-old woman in a loving, long-term marriage. My husband and I always thought we wanted kids. We were stable, building our home, both in full-time work. So when I accidentally fell pregnant with our son, we told ourselves this was the right time. We had the house, the jobs, the commitment. This was the next box to tick, right? We decided to go ahead with the pregnancy. The birth was traumatic and those first months were rough. He was a difficult baby and I struggled to adjust to motherhood, but eventually things started to settle. I even managed to start freelancing, which gave me some flexibility. When our son was 10 months old, I found out I was pregnant again, 2 under 2. I was hesitant because I knew how much I had struggled the first time, but my husband had always wanted 2 kids. I told myself, let's just get it over with. A few hard years and then we'll be through the worst of it. Our daughter was born and she was a dream baby. She barely cried, slept well, and was calm and easy. I thought maybe we had turned a corner. Now, 8 and 10 years later, I can say this with absolute confidence. Having children is the worst thing I've ever done. Parenting is relentless. I am emotionally and mentally drained every single day. My husband is wonderful, truly hands-on. But at the end of the day, moms are still the default parent. He returned to his full-time job on afternoon shifts, and I've been the one forced to sacrifice everything, constantly reinventing myself, professionally and personally, just to make it all work. I've done well for myself career-wise. I found a flexible hybrid role that pays well, more than my husband's job, but the logistics around school, activities, and everything else are overwhelming. The workload of parenting is crushing, and nothing prepared me for how much it would take from me. And my kids, they're not easy. They are demanding, strong-willed, and high needs. No matter how hard I try, the routines, the structure, making sure they have what they need, it's never enough. They throw it back in my face. This generation of kids feels entitled, like they don't care about consequences. We've tried everything, from gentle parenting to strict boundaries. Nothing works. I genuinely hate being a parent. I hate the thankless grind of it all. And yes, hate is a strong word, but after 10 years, I feel like parenting has been one long, soul-sucking mistake. If I didn't have such a strong, loving relationship with my husband, I would have walked away by now and left them all behind. I share this because I wish someone had been brutally honest with me before I had kids. We are sold this idea of a village, but for most of us, there is no village. Grandparents still working full-time, unaffordable childcare options, no community to lean on. You cannot predict the child you'll get. Some are easy, but some will test every last shred of your mental and emotional stability. All I can do now is endure. I'm counting down the years until they move out, and I can reclaim myself. But for now, I live with huge regret.
One of the most vile things we do as a society is encourage women to become mothers without giving them the reality of what motherhood is. I think about this a lot because I co-host a podcast about being child-free, and we've helped a lot of women embrace their child-free life in new ways. But when I tell you this post on Reddit fucked me up, this was in the Regretful Parenthood sub, and the subject line was, "At bare minimum, I thought they at least loved you." She said, "I'm a stay-at-home mom to a freshly 2-year-old. I became a one-and-done mom within 3 weeks after birth because I felt I was instantly sold a lie and wouldn't trap myself further." Already dark. She goes on to say her child was very wanted and she was so grateful she conceived with no issue. But this is where things, I think, start to go awry. She said, "I do all the things mom is supposed to do while pregnant. I sung to her, rubbed and poked at my belly, talked to her constantly. And maybe I'm wrong, but all of those things sound like a fantasy to me. They sound like things you do when you dream of being pregnant, not what being pregnant actually is like." And so to cite that as doing all the things a mom is supposed to do is already confusing to me. But I'm trying to reserve judgment. She goes on to say that she hated being pregnant, but she would try to gaslight herself into feeling the love because she knew the hormones would help her, and then the baby shows up. She says that she didn't like being held at first. She rejected the breast milk. She would not do contact naps. She was in pain and she was gassy. She then says at 2 years old, her daughter still has to be prompted to say, "I love you," which I think is pretty normal for a 2-year-old. She's demanding. She's constantly getting into anything she can. She has meltdowns within 5 seconds. She's a biter, a clawer, a pincher, a hitter when she gets mad. And overall keeps getting brattier and brattier. And then she says we don't do iPads, and she gets an hour of screen time a day. Miss Rachel receives more excitement than the slave she has in me. And this is where so much resentment starts coming out. And honestly, I don't blame this mom. I blame the society that taught her that being motherhood was going to be something completely different. She said she used to be a baker and a cook, but her daughter doesn't like anything she makes. She goes on to say that her mom wasn't a great mom. She was just selfish and entitled, and she didn't want to be like that. She gives so much love so freely and doesn't expect her to give anything like I was expected to give in return. I just don't understand why she doesn't have a want for me at all. I didn't have a child to fill a void like my mom. She ends the post talking about her and her husband and said, "We wanted children so we could see the joy in life from a new set of eyes and give everything he and I lacked growing up. I thought the love was a bonus. I thought they just inherently loved you. I thought they inherently wanted to make you proud." And I don't feel like I should be the person saying this because I'm not a parent and I will never be a parent. We should be honest with people about this life choice. That nothing is inherent in motherhood or parenthood. Your child could be born deathly ill, or develop an illness or an addiction along the way. They're not guaranteed to outlive you. They're not guaranteed to love you or take care of you. Choosing to be a parent means choosing all of those hard things, even if you don't get anything in return. And yet, for some reason, I feel like we teach people the exact opposite. Have kids, don't have money, it will work out. You'll figure it out. Other people have figured it out. You're pregnant? Is it a boy or a girl? As if the baby is even guaranteed to be a boy or a girl after birth. But the worst thing we do is tell people to have kids because it's the only way to experience true love, because that is not a guarantee. And to enter into parenthood with that expectation is dangerous and irresponsible, both to yourself and to your child. I don't know, am I crazy? Like, why don't we teach people what parenthood is really like and then allow them to make an informed decision? If you know everything going into it and still say, this is what I want, I'm called to be a parent, then awesome. But the fact that we just dupe the majority of society into doing this wild thing with crazy expectations will never make sense to me.
I just saw an interview where a guy was talking about how having kids was the worst decision he ever made. Like, it ruined his life and his wife's life. And that's not to say you shouldn't have kids if you want to, because you should definitely have kids if you want to. But this guy openly admitted that he manipulated his wife into having kids. She didn't want to do it when they met. And he said that was fine, even though he really wanted to have kids. And so they fell in love, and they were about to get married, and he was like, yeah, actually, I lied before I want kids. Like, you can't do that. That's a big thing. That's a big decision. Don't just, like, hope people are going to change their mind. Because then she did. She agreed. She's like, I'll have one, but under the conditions that, like, I don't have to give up my career. I don't have to do this, that, and the other. Anyway, ended up getting pregnant with twins, had a traumatic birth experience, suffers from postpartum depression, and they had to do, like, a C-section, and something else happened, and so now she's just in chronic pain all the time. So she can't work. And she was like the breadwinner. Like, she made the majority of the income. So be honest with your partner. Do not assume that they'll come around. It's really messed up.
Okay, this is interesting. 30% of mothers regret having children. Now, I've been noticing an increase on the topic of women who are deciding not to have children here on TikTok, but what I haven't noticed is anyone coming out and saying that they regret having children, which is completely normal because that is a very taboo subject. Ladies, I want you to think long and hard about the life that you want for yourself, not the life that society is telling you that you should have, the life that you want to create for yourself and for your own happiness. Because time and time again, we've seen kids being abandoned, neglected, and killed by their own parents. And I'm pretty sure it's because those parents did not want to be parents to begin with. But seriously, when you think about the life that you want for yourself, what does that entail? Do you really want to start a family in your 20s or even in your 30s, or do you just want to wait until your 40s to do so? Or maybe you want to opt out and just be married and you and your husband travel the world together. Or maybe you don't want to have kids or get married and you just want to be the rich auntie who bear the gifts during the holidays. Or stay single and adopt a newborn. Or maybe you want to be the next Oprah and utilize your time to contribute to the world in a positive way, with or without children. What I'm saying is, with almost 8 billion people in the world, not everyone is going to have the same life itinerary because not everyone is supposed to. I feel like women are the only ones being threatened that they're going to die alone if they decide to not have a family, which is what's creating mothers who abandon children. Read the room. So for women specifically who don't have children right now, I suggest you take the time. It can take days, weeks, maybe even months to figure out what your life path is going to be without any consideration of the path that society has for you. I hope this helps.
All right, so when a mom, there's so many people who really want to have children, and then there's so many people who, when they're blessed to have children, some are happy and some are so unhappy and frustrated and depressed. So there's that term called postpartum depression, which a lot of mothers experience, whereby when they have a child, they feel like this child is not theirs. They are detached. They don't feel the mother enough. They don't feel like as if this child is part and parcel of them. So they don't end up loving that child. So when people identify that postpartum depression, they usually take the mother to the hospital, to be psychologically, talked to be helped so that she can come out of that situation. Because at the end of the day, as a mom, you need to be healthy physically, mentally, and emotionally in order to take care of a new baby, to bring her, to become an adult. And this baby will be with the mom, especially the first 6 years, before the baby start going to school, this baby is with the mom every day. The mom is the one supposed to take care of the child, to make sure the child is fed, to make sure the child is clean, to make sure that the clothes are clean. Literally, it's the mom, of course, plus the husband and the family in general, but the person who spends with the child most of the time is the mom. So if the mom is going through postpartum depression, whereby literally he or she's hating the child, doesn't want anything to do with the child, or doesn't want to show motherly love to the child because she's not feeling it, because as a result of that depression, they ended up hating that new life. They ended up hating that child. So if you look in this subreddit community, you're seeing parents talking about how they hate their children, how they hate their new life, how they hate why they agreed to have that child instead of aborting. So you're seeing this situation where it's a huge community, people are talking about that. So you're wondering, are these people who have like 14 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old children, does it mean these parents are still going through the postpartum depression? Why are they so frustrated? Or does it mean this child is misbehaving, this teenager is misbehaving? That's the reason why the parents are, the mother is literally hating on the child. So there's so many questions. If you go through that subreddit community, you're asking exactly what's going on. What is the situation in the home? Is the environment conducive for growing a child? Are they financially able to take care of the children? You know, those are the questions that people go through. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that as a woman, as a mother, people usually go through a lot of changes. So mentally you have to be prepared when you want to become a mother. So if you're not prepared mentally, you might end up getting that postpartum depression. And if you identify immediately that you're going through that postpartum depression, it's best to go to see a psychologist, to go see a doctor who's gonna help you, to come out of that depression, either by advising you, but either the prescribing medication. Is good to do it, to deal with it earlier, as compared to waiting until one day you wake up and you feel like you're okay, which doesn't happen normally, because there are some cases where they're very serious, and if not taken care of, it may lead to catastrophic end in that family in one way or another. It might end up even affecting this child as he or she grows up and becoming an adult, and literally mentally affect that child, because literally the home was not conducive for their upbringing. So let me know what you think about this video, and please subscribe to my channel. And exactly what goes on to the parents. Why do they hate their children? Why do they write such stuff on social media? Are they going through postpartum depression, or do they really hate their children, or don't they have motherly love? What exactly is going on? Do you have such experience, or do you know anybody who has gone through that experience? Let me know in my comment section, and please subscribe to my channel.